The universe's most catastrophic filing error was about to cost someone their job, and possibly their tentacles. Grixnock Fleebleworth, a mid-level bureaucrat in the Galactic Resource Assessment Department, had just discovered something that made all three of his hearts skip a beat simultaneously. This was particularly alarming since they were supposed to beat in sequence, like a biological drum solo. The document in front of him was 65 million years old. It was the original survey report for a small, watery planet in the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy. The planet had been classified as Class Z, essentially worthless, suitable only for parking space debris or hosting reality TV shows about survival. But there was a problem, a massive problem. The Z was supposed to be an A. Someone, 65 million years ago, had made a typo. "Oh, fuck," he whispered in Galactic Standard, which sounds remarkably like a sneeze played backwards through a kazoo. The word had been borrowed from Earth broadcasts, though nobody quite understood what it meant. They just knew humans said it when things went spectacularly wrong. His supervisor, Blothina Quibblenatch, materialized in his cubicle with the kind of dramatic entrance that only beings who can phase through solid matter can truly achieve. She was eating something that looked suspiciously like a donut, but was actually a compressed star system. Low calorie, you understand. "Fleebleworth," she announced, spraying cosmic crumbs everywhere. "Why do you look like someone just told you the cafeteria is out of quantum coffee?" "Ma'am," Grixnock began, his voice achieving frequencies only dogs and certain types of sophisticated radio equipment could hear. "We have a situation. Earth, the humans' planet. It's not Class Z." "So?" Blothina shrugged, which was impressive considering she didn't technically have shoulders. "Reclassify it. Class Y, Class X, whatever. Who cares about some backwater? It's Class A, ma'am." The compressed star system fell from what would generously be called Blothina's hand. It hit the floor and created a small black hole, which the janitor would complain about later. "What?" she shrieked. "Class A? As in, holy shit, this planet has everything we've ever wanted, including the secret to faster-than-light travel without the annoying time dilation effects. Class A? That exact one, yes. But we've been ignoring it for 65 million years. Do you have any idea what the humans might have developed in that time? They could have... She paused, searching for the worst possible scenario. "They could have developed lawyers." As if on cue, which in this story it absolutely was, Grixnock's computer pinged. A new report had just arrived from their deep-cover spy on Earth, Agent Zilix, who had been masquerading as a television critic for the past 30 years. The report read, "Urgent. Humans have developed something called memes. These information packets transcend dimensional barriers and appear to violate at least 16 fundamental laws of physics. Yesterday, I saw one about a cat wanting a cheeseburger, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it for 7 hours. Please advise. Also, what the hell is a cheeseburger?" Blothina's color changed from its usual healthy purple to a kind of beige that suggested existential dread mixed with mild indigestion. "Call an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council," she commanded. "We need to discuss this immediately." "Should I use the regular emergency protocol, or the oh shit we really fucked up this time protocol?" Grixnock asked. "Is there one worse than that?" "There's the someone let Dave from accounting make decisions again protocol." "That one!" Blothina screamed. "Use that one!" The Galactic Council chamber was the kind of imposing space that screamed, "We have more money than sense," in about 47 different languages. The ceiling was made entirely of crystallized time, which meant meetings could literally feel like they lasted forever. The council table was carved from a single piece of dark matter, mainly because someone in procurement had gotten a really good deal on it. Currently, it was occupied by the universe's most powerful beings, all of whom looked like they'd rather be literally anywhere else. This included Proxima Centauri's dentist, who had accidentally been invited due to another clerical error, but was too polite to leave. Council Chairman Vorthak, the unnecessarily dramatic, stood up, his 17 eyes scanning the room with the kind of intensity usually reserved for finding where you left your keys. "Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary cosmic entities," he began, his voice dripping with the kind of gravitas that could bend light. "We have a situation. The humans of Earth have developed memes." A tentacle shot up from the Andromedan delegation. "What's a meme?" Vorthak paused. "How do you explain a meme to someone who communicates exclusively through color-changing skin patterns? Imagine if a joke and a virus had a baby, and that baby was aggressively stupid, but somehow also genius. "That makes no sense," complained Ambassador Crickle from the Magellanic clouds. "Exactly." Vorthak slammed his primary appendage on the table. "They make no sense, yet they're everywhere. Our linguistic computers have been trying to decode the meaning of yeet for 3 cycles now. One of them had a nervous breakdown and is now in therapy," the council murmured nervously. "If human culture could break a computer designed to translate the universe's most complex languages, including that one species that communicates entirely through interpretive dance, what else could they do? Furthermore," Vorthak continued, pulling up a holographic display, "according to our spies' reports, humans have weaponized everything. They've turned food into competitions, sleep into a competitive sport, and somehow made walking upstairs into something called CrossFit, which appears to be a form of voluntary torture they pay for." "Surely you're exaggerating," said diplomat Querbel, whose species was known for being frustratingly reasonable. "Am I?" Vorthak's voice reached a pitch that shattered 3 wine glasses and 1 ambassador's monocle. "They've made a sport out of sitting in hot water. They call it competitive sauna sitting. Who does that?" Agent Zazalix's latest report materialized in the center of the table because dramatic timing was important in galactic politics. "Day 10,947 of my mission," the report began. "I've been embedded so deep in human culture that I'm no longer sure what's real and what's scripted television. Yesterday, I watched something called The Bachelor and spent 3 hours trying to figure out if it was a documentary about rose-based economics or a mating ritual. Still unclear." The report continued. "The humans seem to be aware that we're watching them. They keep making movies about alien invasions, and frankly, they're offensively inaccurate. In one film, aliens were defeated by the common cold. The common cold! As if we wouldn't have basic immunization protocols. Another one had aliens defeated by water. Water, the substance that covers 71% of their planet. Did they think we wouldn't check? But here's the disturbing part," the report went on, and everyone leaned in because if that wasn't the disturbing part, what was? "I think they're making these movies bad on purpose, as if they're taunting us. Look," they seem to say, "we know you're out there and we're so unimpressed we're making fun of you before you even show up." The council sat in stunned silence. Finally, the dentist, who had been quietly observing, raised a tentative hand. "Maybe we should just talk to them?" Everyone turned to stare at him. "You know," he continued nervously, "just show up and say hello instead of all this spying and planning." "Preposterous!" shouted 17 different council members in 17 different languages, creating a cacophony that sounded like a symphony having an argument with itself. Vorthak raised all his appendages for silence. "No, wait, the dentist might be onto something, but we can't just appear. There are protocols, procedures. We need to follow the 17,000 steps of first contact." "The humans have a saying," Agent Zelix's report helpfully added. "Fuck it, we'll do it live." I don't know what it means, but they say it right before they do something spectacularly stupid that somehow works out. Meanwhile, on Earth, in a basement office that officially didn't exist in a building that was definitely not owned by any government agency, Reginald Pemberton was having his 3rd cup of tea and his first existential crisis of the day. It was only 9 a.m. Reginald was the head of the Department of Extraterrestrial Preparedness and Cosmic Relations, or DEPCR, which everyone pronounced deeper, because government acronyms were required by law to be either unpronounceable or accidentally inappropriate. "Sir?" His assistant, Moonbeam Jefferson, her parents were hippies, don't judge, burst into his office without knocking, which meant either the world was ending or the coffee machine was broken again. "Please tell me it's the coffee machine," Reginald said without looking up from his crossword. 7 letters, starts with I, means an attack from outside forces. Invasion. Too obvious. "The aliens are having a council meeting about us," Moonbeam announced. "Our satellites picked up their transmission. They're arguing about memes." Reginald finally looked up. "Memes? Really? Which ones?" "Apparently distracted boyfriend has caused 3 diplomatic incidents and 1 species to question the nature of reality itself." "Brilliant!" Reginald stood up so fast his chair fell over. "How long have we known about this meeting?" "About 6 months, sir. We've been taking bets on when they'd finally decide to make contact. Johnson from Analytics has October 15th at 3:47 p.m. Oddly specific. What are the odds? 12 to 1, but they get better if you can guess which landmark they'll appear over. Johnson's got double or nothing on the Hollywood sign." Reginald walked over to a wall that was covered in what looked like the ravings of a conspiracy theorist, but was actually the official contact probability chart. Red strings connected various photos of landmarks to pictures of different alien species they'd identified through intercepted communications. "Right," Reginald said, turning back to Moonbeam with the kind of determination usually reserved for Black Friday shopping. "Initiate Protocol 7. Sir, Protocol 7 is order pizza for the office. Sorry, Protocol 17. That's pretend we had no idea aliens existed while secretly being completely prepared, sir." "That's the one!" Reginald clapped his hands. "Send a memo to all departments. Use Comic Sans." "Comic Sans, sir? Isn't that a bit unprofessional?" "Moonbeam, we're about to pretend to be surprised by aliens we've been monitoring since 1947. The entire situation is unprofessional. Might as well lean into it." As Moonbeam rushed off to send the most important memo in human history in the most ridiculous font possible, Reginald picked up his phone and dialed a number that connected to a room that definitely didn't exist in Las Vegas. "Vegas Odds Department," a bored voice answered. "It's Pemberton. What are the current odds on alien contact?" "Depends. Full invasion or diplomatic mission?" "Diplomatic, but they think it's an invasion." "Ooh, that's a rare one. Let me check. Okay, we've got 1,000 to 1 on aliens invade but get confused by bureaucracy. 500 to 1 on aliens demand surrender but humans don't notice. And my personal favorite, 3 to 1 on aliens arrive but have to fill out immigration paperwork. Put me down for 50 quid on the paperwork." "Solid choice, sir. Though between you and me, smart money's on aliens discover coffee and forget why they came." Back in space, the Galactic Council had finally reached a decision through the time-honored tradition of arguing until everyone was too tired to continue. They would send their most impressive fleet to Earth, appear simultaneously over every major city, and demand immediate surrender. "It's foolproof," Vorthak declared, pointing at a holographic battle plan that had taken 17 committees, 6 cycles to approve. "We'll appear at exactly solar noon local time for maximum dramatic effect." "Sir," a nervous aide interjected, "solar noon happens at different times in different places on Earth." "What?" Vorthak's eye stalks twisted in confusion. "How is that possible?" "They have these things called time zones, sir. The planet rotates so—" "The planet rotates," several council members shouted in unison. "While beings are on it?" added another in horror. "Doesn't everyone get dizzy?" asked the Andromedan ambassador who came from a tidally locked world. "Apparently not, sir. They've adapted. They even have something called jet lag when they move too quickly between zones." The council stared in horrified fascination. These humans lived on a spinning ball of rock, hurtling through space, and had somehow decided that the biggest problem with this was making sure everyone showed up to meetings on time. "Fine," Vorthak said after a moment of recalibration. "We'll appear at... what's the most dramatic time? According to Earth media, either dawn or sunset, sir?" "Dawn it is. Very dramatic. Lots of lens flare opportunities." The fleet was assembled with the kind of efficiency that only fear of middle management can inspire. 3,000 ships, each one more imposing than the last, formed up in attack formation. The flagship, Inevitable Doom, was so large it had its own weather system. The smallest scout ship was still the size of Manhattan, though nobody on board knew what Manhattan was, which would prove to be embarrassingly relevant later. Admiral Grunch stood on the bridge of the Inevitable Doom, his uniform so heavily decorated with medals that he technically qualified as a mineral deposit. "All ships, report ready status. Destroyer Squadron Alpha ready. Battlecruiser Division ready. Logistics and catering ready. We have sandwiches." "Excellent. Wait, sandwiches? What kind?" "Tuna, sir. Tuna. This is an invasion, not a picnic. Get me whoever approved tuna sandwiches for a military operation." "That would be you, sir. You signed the requisition form." "I did?" "Yes, sir. You said, and I quote, 'Whatever, I don't care, just feed the troops something.'" Admiral Grunch grumbled something about bureaucracy, but let it slide. They had bigger fish to fry. Not literally, though the tuna sandwiches did raise questions about their preparedness for metaphorical fish frying. "Initiate quantum jump to Earth," he commanded. The fleet disappeared from their staging area and reappeared in Earth's solar system with the kind of dramatic entrance that would have been impressive if anyone had been watching. Unfortunately, the only witness was a very confused astronaut on the International Space Station who was trying to figure out if someone had spiked his morning coffee with something unusual. "Astronaut Thompson to Houston," he said slowly. "Either I'm having the weirdest hallucination ever, or there are about 3,000 alien ships outside my window." "Copy that, Thompson. Can you describe them?" "Well, one looks like a cathedral had a baby with a disco ball. Another one appears to be... Is that a skull? Why would you put a skull on a spaceship? That's so tacky. Thompson, are you sure you're seeing... Oh my God! One of them has racing stripes! Racing stripes! On a spaceship! Who does that?" In the Department of Extraterrestrial Preparedness and Cosmic Relations, alarms were going off, but in a very orderly, bureaucratic way. Forms were being filled out in triplicate. Emergency committees were being formed. Someone was making sure the coffee machine was working because this was going to be a long day. "Sir!" Moonbeam rushed into Reginald's office. "They're here! 3,000 ships!" 3,000? Reginald raised an eyebrow. "Bit much, isn't it? Are they compensating for something?" "Should we initiate our defense protocols?" "Which ones? We have about 50, and frankly, I've forgotten what half of them do." "How about the one where we pretend we don't see them?" "Oh, I love that one. Yes, let's do that. Send a memo to all world governments. Tell them to act normal." "Define normal, sir." "Good point. Tell them to act like they usually do, but more so." Within minutes, the most coordinated non-response in human history was underway. World leaders continued their scheduled programming. The news covered a story about a cat that looked like a celebrity. Social media exploded with arguments about whether a hot dog was a sandwich. It was aggressively, determinedly normal. On the bridge of the Inevitable Doom, Admiral Grunch was getting frustrated. "Why aren't they panicking? We're looming ominously." "Perhaps we're not looming hard enough, sir. Loom harder." The ships rearranged themselves into an even more threatening formation, spelling out "surrender" in Universal Standard. Unfortunately, from Earth's perspective, it looked like a connect-the-dots puzzle that vaguely resembled a duck. "Sir," the communications officer reported, "we're picking up Earth transmissions." "Put them on speaker! Let's hear their terror!" The bridge was suddenly filled with the sound of a morning radio show. "And that's why I think pineapple absolutely belongs on pizza. Coming up next, traffic on the 405 is backed up because, well, it's the 405. In other news, NASA reports some unusual stellar activity, but says it's probably nothing to worry about. Now here's Wonderwall. They think we're stellar activity? Admiral Grunch's voice went up several octaves. Should we announce ourselves, sir? Yes, open all channels. I want every human on that planet to hear this. The Admiral cleared his throat, which was impressive since he didn't technically have one, and began his prepared speech, which had been written by committee and therefore made about as much sense as you'd expect. Attention, humans of Earth! His voice boomed across every electronic device on the planet. We are the Galactic Confederation of United Systems, subsection 12. Paragraph B. We have come to... He paused, looking at his script in confusion. Sir, his aide whispered, this says we're here to synergize our core competencies with Earth's value propositions. What the fuck does that mean? I think someone from corporate got involved in the speechwriting, sir. For the love of... Humans! We are here to invade, surrender immediately or face the consequences. There was a pause. Then, across the planet, 8 billion humans did something the aliens hadn't expected. They laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not a hysterical laugh. A genuine, amused laugh, as if they'd just heard a particularly good joke. In his office, Reginald was practically crying with laughter. Oh, this is perfect. They actually announced themselves. Johnson wins the bet. Should we respond, sir? Moonbeam asked, trying to maintain professional composure but failing. Oh, yes. Put me through to their flagship. And Moonbeam? Yes, sir. Make sure you're recording. This is going to be hilarious. The main screen on the inevitable doom flickered to life, showing a middle-aged human with a cup of tea and an expression of polite interest, like someone had just told him about their vacation plans. Hello there, Reginald said cheerfully. Lovely ships you have, very imposing. Love the skull motif on that one. Very death metal album cover. I'm Reginald Pemberton from the Department of Extraterrestrial Preparedness and Cosmic Relations. How can I help you today? Admiral Grunch stared. You have a department for this? Oh yes, established in 1947. You're actually about 70 years late. We expected you ages ago. There was a betting pool and everything. I lost 50 quid because I had you down for the 80s. But we're invading. Yes, we heard. Very dramatic announcement, by the way, though next time maybe avoid rush hour. You've caused absolute chaos on social media. Dark alien invasion is trending, but it's mostly people complaining about how this will affect their commute. We have 3,000 ships. We noticed. Bit excessive, don't you think? I mean, we get it, you're powerful, but 3,000? What are you, insecure? The Admiral's color changed to something between purple and ultraviolet, a shade that didn't exist in human visual spectrum, but would have conveyed apoplectic rage if it did. Surrender or be destroyed. Right, about that. Reginald took a sip of his tea. I'm afraid you'll need to fill out some forms first. Forms? Oh yes. Invasion Application Form 77B, Declaration of Hostile Intent Document 23C, and of course the Environmental Impact Assessment. Can't have you invading without considering your carbon footprint. We're very concerned about climate change, you know. This is ridiculous. We're an advanced alien civilization. We don't need to fill out forms. Well, that's your choice, of course, Reginald said reasonably. But without the proper paperwork, it's not technically a legal invasion. More of an undocumented visit. You'll need tourist visas for all your personnel. How many did you say you have? 7 million. 7 million? Reginald's eyes widened. Oh dear. That's going to take some time. Our immigration office closes at 4 p.m. and weekends, and every second Tuesday for training. On the bridge of the inevitable doom, several officers were beginning to experience what humans would recognize as a migraine, though their version involved tentacles tying themselves in knots. This is insane, Admiral Grunch sputtered. We'll just take your planet by force. Oh, you could try, Reginald agreed amiably. "But then you'd be in violation of Galactic Council Resolution 7749, subsection J." "How do you know about Galactic Council resolutions? We've been intercepting your communications for decades. Honestly, you should really upgrade your encryption. My nephew could crack it, and he's 12. But that's impossible. Our encryption is based on quantum entanglement." "Yes, quantum entanglement of particles that you buy from Quantum Corp, who have a manufacturing facility on Mars's moon Phobos. We've been customers for years, loyal customer discount and everything." The bridge went silent except for the sound of one officer having what could only be described as a nervous breakdown in 12 dimensions simultaneously. "You've been buying from our suppliers?" the Admiral asked weakly. "Oh, yes. Lovely people at Quantum Corp. Their sales rep, Zix, makes the most wonderful space coffee. Speaking of which, have you tried Earth coffee? It's quite remarkable. We don't consume human beverages. Your loss. Though I suppose invasion is thirsty work. Can we offer you some refreshments? We have tea, coffee, something called Red Bull, which we're not entirely sure is safe for human consumption, but people drink it anyway. We're not here for refreshments. We're here to conquer." "Yes, about that." Reginald pulled out a tablet and began scrolling. "According to our records, you're the 47th species to try to invade Earth. The Zorgans tried in 52, lovely people. They run a chain of restaurants now. The Blargans in 74, they got distracted by disco. The Quantumians in 99, they discovered online gaming and never left their ships. Would you like to see our statistics on successful invasions? Fine. What's the success rate? 0%. But don't let that discourage you. Someone has to be first, right?" Admiral Grunch turned to his tactical officer. "Fire a warning shot. Show them we mean business." A brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the inevitable doom, striking an uninhabited area of the Pacific Ocean. The water instantly vaporized, creating a massive steam cloud that rose into the atmosphere. Back in his office, Reginald didn't even flinch. "Impressive, though you've just created a low-pressure system that's going to cause unexpected rainfall in California. They've been in a drought, so actually, thank you for that." "That was a weapon of unimaginable power." "Yes, we imagined it. We've been imagining it since the 1950s. We call it a death ray. Very creative, I know. We've got about 17 movies featuring them. Would you like some recommendations?" "Mars Attacks is particularly fun, though wildly inaccurate. Martians are actually quite pleasant." "You've met Martians?" "Oh yes, they run the best underground jazz club in New Orleans. Literally underground. You'd need special breathing apparatus to get there, but the music is worth it." The Admiral's head was spinning, which was concerning because it wasn't designed to do that. "This is impossible. Our intelligence said you were a primitive species." "Primitive?" Reginald sounded offended. "We've been to the moon. We have a rover on Mars. We've created the internet, which is simultaneously humanity's greatest achievement and biggest mistake." "What's the internet?" "Oh, you're going to love this. It's a global network where humans share information, cat videos, and argue about literally everything. Last week, there was a 3-day debate about whether soup is a beverage. 3 days. That's insane. That's humanity. We're professionally insane. We jump out of perfectly good aircraft for fun. We eat peppers that cause us physical pain because we like the taste. We keep animals that could kill us as pets because they're cute. We're absolutely barking mad, and we're proud of it." Just then, Agent Zilix's emergency report arrived at the flagship. Admiral Grunch read it with growing horror. "Update. Have discovered human military capabilities. They have something called nuclear weapons, which they built to point at each other. They achieved mutually assured destruction, and then just kept living with it. They literally have enough weapons to destroy their planet 17 times over, and they use this as a bargaining chip in trade negotiations. Also, they've weaponized everything. Everything. They have a military doctrine for fighting with sharpened shovels." "Shovels? Who weaponizes gardening equipment?" Request immediate extraction. This species is clinically insane." The Admiral looked back at the screen where Reginald was casually sipping his tea. "You're all mad," the Admiral said quietly. "Oh, absolutely," Reginald agreed. "We thought that was obvious. We live on a ball of rock spinning around a nuclear explosion in an infinite void, and our biggest concern is whether our sports team will make the playoffs. If that's not madness, I don't know what is. But then how do you function as a society?" "Badly," Reginald said cheerfully, "but with style and coffee, lots of coffee. Speaking of which, I really must insist you try some. It's our greatest contribution to galactic civilization. We haven't agreed to any cultural exchange. Haven't you? You're here, we're talking. Seems like cultural exchange to me. In fact, according to Earth customs, since you've been in our airspace for more than 30 minutes without attacking, you're technically loitering. That's a finable offense. You want to fine us for invading? Well, unsuccessful invading. It's like attempted murder versus actual murder. Different paperwork." The tactical officer whispered to the Admiral, "Sir, their legal system appears to be more complex than quantum mechanics." "I'm beginning to see that," the Admiral muttered. Then louder, "What would it take for you to surrender?" "Oh, we don't really do surrender," Reginald said. "We do negotiations, hostile takeovers, mergers and acquisitions, but surrender, that's so final. No room for sequels. Sequels. Never mind. Earth thing. Look, why don't you tell us what you actually want? I mean, you can't just want to conquer us for the sake of it. That's so last millennium." Admiral Grunch found himself, against all military protocol and common sense, actually considering this. We need resources. Our civilization has depleted several star systems. We heard Earth had vast untapped potential. "Ah," Reginald's face lit up. "Why didn't you say so? We love trade. We've built our entire civilization on selling things to each other that we don't need. We've monetized everything. We sell water, the thing that literally falls from the sky." "You sell water? In bottles, with pictures of mountains on them, for a 2,000% markup. It's genius. That's evil. That's capitalism. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about cryptocurrency. We created money that doesn't exist, backed by nothing, requiring enormous amounts of energy to create, and people buy it because it might be worth more later. It's economically insane and environmentally catastrophic, but the memes are fantastic." The Admiral turned to his economic advisor. "Are they serious?" The advisor was frantically calculating. "Sir, if their economic model is accurate, they've somehow created value from nothing and convinced everyone it's real. It's either the stupidest thing in the universe or absolute genius. I can't tell which." "Both," Reginald chimed in. "It's both. That's the human way. We stumble backwards into success and then pretend we planned it all along." "This is giving me a headache," the Admiral groaned. "Oh, you get headaches too? We have pills for that, probably. The pharmaceutical industry is, well, that's another conversation. The point is, why invade when you can trade? We've got everything, natural resources, entertainment, food that will either kill you or cure you, and we're not sure which. Your food is deadly. Only some of it. We have this thing called fugu. It's a fish that can kill you if prepared incorrectly. We eat it because it can kill us. Makes it more exciting. Why? Because we're bored. Do you have any idea how boring existence is without the constant threat of death? We've invented entire industries based on almost dying. Bungee jumping, free climbing, running with bulls, Black Friday shopping. What's Black Friday? The day after Thanksgiving, when humans engage in retail combat for discounted electronics. We've had fewer casualties in actual wars. The bridge of the inevitable doom had gone completely silent. Every officer was staring at their screens, trying to process what they were learning about humanity. Finally, the science officer spoke up. "Sir, I've been analyzing their internet. They've created something called Rule 34. "What's that?" I I can't explain it without violating several military codes of conduct and possibly my own species' taboos. It can't be that bad. Sir, they've sexualized everything, including concepts. Someone has written erotic fiction about the concept of taxation. What? It's called 50 Shades of Tax Returns. It has surprisingly good reviews. Admiral Grunch sat down heavily in his command chair, which creaked ominously under his weight and existential dread. These humans are beyond comprehension. Thank you, Reginald said brightly. We try. Now, about that trade agreement. We have lawyers standing by. Well, I say standing, they're actually circling like sharks, but that's normal. We need to discuss this with the Galactic Council, the Admiral said weakly. Of course, take your time, but not too much time. Our fiscal year ends soon and we need to report alien contact to our shareholders. Shareholders? Oh yes, we've gone public with the whole alien thing. Stock prices are up 300%. Someone's already making commemorative plates. I survived the alien invasion of 2025. Oh, they're quite nice, dishwasher safe and everything. But we haven't invaded yet. Details. The important thing is merchandising. We've got t-shirts, mugs, a breakfast cereal. A breakfast cereal? Invasion Crunch. It turns your milk green. Kids love it. We could do a licensing deal if you're interested. Official cereal of the Galactic Confederation. Think about it. The communications officer turned to the Admiral. Sir, the Galactic Council is calling. They want an update. What do I tell them? Admiral Grunch asked desperately. The truth, the officer suggested, that we're being offered a serial endorsement deal instead of planetary surrender. Maybe. Phrase it differently? The Admiral straightened his uniform and accepted the call. Chairman Vorthak's 17 eyes appeared on screen, all of them looking expectant. Admiral, report. Have the humans surrendered? Well, sir, there's been a development. What kind of development? They want to see our business license. The 17 eyes blinked in sequence, creating a wave effect that would have been hypnotic if it wasn't so confused. Your what? Apparently, we need a permit to invade. Also, they're offering us a trade deal and merchandising rights. Merchandising rights? They've already made action figures, sir. I'm apparently available in 3 different poses, including intimidating leader and confused at Earth customs. They got my tentacles wrong, but otherwise it's quite accurate. This is insane! Vorthak's voice reached frequencies that made nearby glass vibrate. We're the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Yes, sir, but they have lawyers. So? Have you seen their lawyers, sir? They have a document called Terms and Conditions that no one reads but everyone agrees to. They've literally got their entire species to regularly sign away rights to things they don't understand. It's either idiocy or genius-level manipulation. Reginald's voice piped up from the Earth communication. It's both. We're very proud of it. Our lawyers once successfully sued a hurricane for property damage. They didn't win, but the fact that they tried tells you everything you need to know about us. You sued whether? Vorthak asked weakly. We've also sued God, Satan, and in one memorable case the concept of Monday. That one's still in litigation. The Galactic Council's emergency session had devolved into what could charitably be called organized chaos, but was actually just chaos that happened to be in the same room. They're insane, shouted the Andromedan ambassador. They're brilliant, argued the Vegan representative. They're insane and brilliant, suggested the dentist, who was really getting into this whole galactic politics thing. Order! Vorthak bellowed, slamming his gavel so hard it created a small temporal anomaly. We need to make a decision. Do we proceed with the invasion or... Sir, an aide interrupted, the humans are broadcasting something. Put it on the main screen. The screen flickered to life, showing what appeared to be a news program. An impossibly cheerful human with impossibly white teeth was speaking directly to the camera. Good morning, Earth. I'm Chuck Williamson with Channel 7 Action News. Our top story today, aliens are here and they're apparently struggling with paperwork. We go now to our eye in the sky, Jennifer, who's in the Channel 7 news chopper. Jennifer? The image switched to an aerial view of one of the alien ships hovering over Los Angeles. Thanks, Chuck. As you can see behind me, this enormous alien vessel has been hovering here for about an hour now, causing massive traffic delays on the 405. Though, to be honest, traffic was already bad. The aliens have not responded to our requests for comment, but someone from their ship did ask for directions to the nearest Starbucks. Back to you, Chuck. Thanks, Jennifer. In related news, Starbucks stock is up 400% on speculation that they'll be opening locations in space. We reached out to Starbucks for comment, and they said, and I quote, "We're excited to serve all sentient beings, regardless of their planet of origin or number of tentacles." Inspiring. Now let's go to weather. Vorthak turned off the screen. They're treating our invasion like a morning news segment. Between the weather and sports, sir, the aide confirmed. We're less important than sports? Back on Earth, Reginald was having another cup of tea, because it was either that or scotch, and it was still technically morning. Sir, Moonbeam said, entering with a stack of papers, the UN wants to know if we should activate the planetary defense grid. The what now? Reginald asked. The planetary defense grid. You know, the thing we've been building since the 70s? Oh, that planetary defense grid. The one that doesn't exist. That's the one, sir. Well, we can't activate something that doesn't exist, can we? Of course not, sir. Though if it did exist, which it doesn't, it would probably be a good time to run a systems check. Hypothetically speaking. Exactly, sir. Reginald pressed a button on his desk that definitely didn't connect to a global defense network that absolutely wasn't real. All hypothetical stations run a hypothetical systems check. Within seconds, responses came in from facilities that certainly weren't secret bases hidden around the world. Hypothetical Station Alpha, ready. Imaginary Base Beta, all systems green. Definitely not real Outpost Gamma, prepared for things that won't happen. Excellent, Reginald said. Now let's see what our alien friends make of this. On every alien ship, alarms suddenly started blaring. Not the gentle someone left the coffee pot on alarms, but the oh shit, we're all going to die kind. Admiral, the tactical officer screamed. The humans have activated some kind of planetary defense system. We're being targeted by... I don't even know what these readings mean. What kind of weapons? Everything. Lasers, particle beams, something called a relativistic kill vehicle. And is that a giant magnet? A magnet? Apparently they've weaponized magnetism, also gravity, and somehow they've turned Wi-Fi signals into a weapon. Wi-Fi? It's their planetary communication system. They use it for cat videos and arguing, but apparently it can also melt our shields. Admiral Grunch stared at the tactical display in horror. How many defense installations do they have? At least 7,000. No, wait, 8,000. No, it's increasing. They're activating more. How is that possible? On Earth, Reginald was trying not to laugh. Moonbeam, are we actually targeting them with Wi-Fi routers? Every Starbucks, McDonald's and public library on Earth, sir. Their sensors can't tell the difference between a coffee shop hotspot and a weapons system. Brilliant. What about the giant magnet? That's the Large Hadron Collider, sir. We're just running a standard maintenance cycle, but their sensors think it's charging up to create a black hole. Can it do that? Probably not. But there was that one time we thought it might, so... Close enough. What about the relativistic kill vehicle? Oh, that's real. What? Just kidding, sir. It's Elon Musk's car that we shot into space. But we put a military transponder on it as a joke, so it shows up as a weapon. Reginald laughed so hard he nearly spilled his tea. This is perfect. They think we've weaponized everything because we've joked about weaponizing everything. Back on the inevitable doom, panic was setting in. Officers were running around, tentacles flailing, various appendages getting tangled with other appendages. It was like watching an octopus convention in a blender. "Sir!" the science officer yelled. "I'm detecting massive energy signatures from their population centers. Weapons. Unknown. The energy patterns match nothing in our database. It's like billions of small reactors all operating simultaneously. Dear cosmic void, the Admiral whispered. They've turned their entire population into living weapons. What the sensors were actually detecting was every human with a smartphone simultaneously checking social media for updates on the alien invasion. The combined electromagnetic signature of 8 billion people tweeting, posting, and sharing memes was indistinguishable from a massive coordinated energy weapon to the alien sensors. "Admiral," the communications officer said nervously, "we're receiving another transmission from Earth." Reginald's face appeared on screen again, still holding his tea, now with a plate of biscuits. "Hello again. Sorry about the light show. We're just running some routine checks. You know how it is, alien invasion protocols and all that. Very standard. Would you like me to dial it back a bit? You look stressed." "You're threatening us?" Admiral Grunch sputtered. "Threatening? Oh no, this is just Tuesday for us. You should see what we do on weekends. Last Saturday, someone in Florida wrestled an alligator for a YouTube video. Got 17 million views. Why would someone wrestle a predator for entertainment?" "Florida," Reginald said, as if that explained everything. "To humans, it did." "Look," Reginald continued, "let's cut to the chase. You came here for resources, right? We have resources. We also have something better: creativity, insanity, and the ability to turn absolutely anything into a profit. Work with us, and we'll make your confederation rich beyond your wildest dreams. Fight us, and, well, we'll probably still try to sell you t-shirts, but they'll be overpriced." "This is blackmail. This is business. Completely different thing. Blackmail is illegal. Business is just morally questionable." The Admiral turned to his advisors. "Options. We could attack," the tactical officer suggested, "and face their 8,000 defense installations. We could retreat," another offered, "and explain to the Council that we were defeated by bureaucracy and merchandising. We could negotiate," the diplomatic attaché said quietly. Everyone turned to stare at him. "Think about it," he continued. "They're clearly insane, but it's a functional insanity. They've survived on a death world, split the atom and created something called reality TV, which from what I can tell is neither reality nor TV. If they can do that, imagine what they could do as allies." "Or enemies," someone muttered. "Sir," the science officer interrupted, "I've been studying their history. They once had a war over a bucket. It lasted 325 years. That can't be right." "It is. They also had a war triggered by someone's ear being cut off, a war over a soccer game, and something called the Emu War." "What's an emu?" "A large flightless bird. They fought a war against birds, and lost." The bridge went silent again. Finally, Admiral Grunch made a decision that would go down in galactic history as either the wisest or stupidest moment in first contact protocols. "Mr. Pemberton," he said formally, "we would like to discuss terms." "Excellent!" Reginald clapped his hands. "I'll have our legal team draw up the paperwork. Fair warning, it might take a while. Our standard trade agreement is about 3,000 pages. 3,000 pages? That's just the summary. The full version includes appendices, amendments, subclauses, and a surprisingly detailed section about banana import regulations that no one remembers adding, but we're afraid to remove in case it's important. Why bananas? No one knows. It's one of life's great mysteries, like why hot dogs come in packs of 10, but buns come in packs of 8. We've just learned to live with the confusion. The next few hours were the most surreal in galactic history. Alien lawyers, who knew they had those, met with human lawyers, who were somehow worse, in a conference room that materialized on the International Space Station. The ISS crew, being consummate professionals, offered everyone freeze-dried coffee and pretended this was totally normal. Article 1, the lead human lawyer began, mutual recognition of sovereignty. Agreed, the alien lawyer said. Subsection A, definition of sovereignty as it applies to celestial bodies. Agreed. Le paragraph 1, subparagraph 3A, Footnote 17, regarding the specific exception for planets with names beginning with the letter E. Wait, what? Oh, that's the Earth clause. Very important. That's ridiculously specific. Welcome to Earth law. We once had a court case about whether a burrito was a sandwich. It went to the Supreme Court. Your highest court debated food classification. 3 times. The hot dog case was particularly contentious. Meanwhile, Reginald was in his office coordinating the greatest PR campaign in human history. Moonbeam, I want merchandise in stores by tomorrow. Tomorrow, sir? That seems impossible. Have you met humans? We'll have knockoffs from China in 3 hours, official merchandise in 6, and premium collectibles by dawn. Someone's probably already selling I Survived the Invasion shirts that they made in their garage. You're right, sir. eBay already has 17,000 listings for alien-related items. 17,000. The aliens have only been here for 3 hours. Humans are remarkably efficient at capitalism, sir. Someone's selling jar of authentic alien air. It's just an empty jar, but bidding is up to $300. Sometimes I love our species. Really, sir? No, but it beats the alternative of thinking too hard about it. Back in the conference room, negotiations had hit a snag. We demand access to Earth's water resources, the alien negotiator insisted. Certainly, the human lawyer replied. We'll sell you as much as you want. Premium spring water, filtered, distilled, sparkling, flavored water. Oh yes, we have water that tastes like fruit but contains no fruit. It's a miracle of modern chemistry and marketing. But we need pure water. Define pure. We have 17 different grades of purity, each with its own price point. Our most expensive water is filtered through diamonds and blessed by monks. Blessed? Marketing term. The monks are actually accounting students, but consumers don't know that. The alien negotiator turned to Admiral Grunch. Sir, I think they're going to out-negotiate us. How is that possible? We have the military advantage. Yes, but they have something more powerful. What? Lawyers who advertise on bus stops. Any species that allows their legal advocates to advertise on public transport is capable of anything. As the negotiations continued, something unexpected happened. The aliens and humans started to like each other. It started when one alien tasted coffee for the first time. This is amazing! Sub-Commander Blorg exclaimed, his 12 taste receptors firing in sequences they'd never experienced. It's bitter but pleasant, stimulating but calming. It makes no sense. That's coffee for you, the human diplomat said. Wait until you try espresso, or better yet, Irish coffee. What's that? Coffee with alcohol. You put intoxicants in your stimulants? Sometimes we put stimulants in our intoxicants too. Ever heard of Four Loko? Your species is fascinating. Within hours, alien crew members were sneaking down to Earth to try human food. The first alien to try pizza nearly caused a diplomatic incident by declaring it better than anything in the Confederation's culinary database. The second one to try chocolate actually did cause an incident by attempting to buy the entire Hershey Company. Sir, Moonbeam reported to Reginald, we have aliens in Times Square. Doing what? Taking selfies. Buying souvenirs. One just got scammed by a guy in an Elmo costume. So they're getting the full tourist experience then. It appears so, sir. Oh, and one just discovered TikTok. God help us all. The alien who discovered TikTok was Lieutenant ZXQK, whose job was supposed to be monitoring Earth's communication systems, but who was now completely absorbed in videos of humans doing incomprehensible things. Why is this human pretending to be a dinosaur? He asked his colleague. I don't know, but it has 40 million views. 40 million? This is what humans choose to watch? Look at this one. It's just a man rating water from different sources. That's insane. It has 60 million views. I need to understand this for science. 6 hours later, Lieutenant ZXQK had started his own TikTok channel, where he rated different Earth foods from an alien perspective. His video on breakfast cereal went viral immediately. Humans put sugar on already sweetened grain products and pour bovine lactation over it, he said to the camera, his 3 eyes wide with disbelief. Then they feed this to their offspring as the first meal of the day. This explains so much about your species. 10 out of 10, absolutely unhinged. I love it. The comments section exploded. This alien gets it. Someone give him a Netflix show. Wait, aliens are real? Forget that, this alien is hilarious. Within a day, Lieutenant ZXQK had 3 million followers and a sponsorship deal with a cereal company. Admiral Grunch watched this development with a mixture of horror and fascination. Our military discipline is collapsing. My crew is too busy making content to maintain invasion readiness. Sir, his aide said carefully, perhaps that's not entirely bad. What? Well, think about it. We came here to conquer, but we're achieving cultural victory instead. Humans are voluntarily sharing their resources with us in exchange for entertainment. Isn't that better than invasion? But we're supposed to be fearsome conquerors. We are, sir. We're conquering their social media algorithms. Lieutenant ZXQK is already verified on Twitter. What's Twitter? It's a platform where humans share thoughts limited to a specific character count, resulting in constant misunderstandings and arguments. Why would they intentionally limit communication in a way that causes conflict? No one knows, sir. It's one of the great mysteries of human civilization, along with why they created a sequel to Cats. What's Cats? You don't want to know, sir. Trust me. Meanwhile, the negotiations had taken an unexpected turn. The human negotiators had introduced the aliens to the concept of venture capitalism. So, the lead human explained, using a holographic presentation that had way too many animations, instead of taking our resources, you invest in them. We use your technology to extract resources more efficiently, and you get a percentage of the profits. But we could just take them, the alien negotiator pointed out. You could, but then you'd have to manage extraction, deal with unions, handle environmental regulations, file quarterly reports. It's a nightmare. This way, we do all the work, and you just collect checks. That seems too good to be true. Welcome to capitalism. It is too good to be true, but we all pretend otherwise, and somehow it works. But what if the investment fails? Then you write it off as a tax loss. We don't pay taxes to Earth. Not yet. Give our legislators a few days. They'll find a way to tax you. They once tried to tax sunshine, actual sunshine. The alien negotiator looked at his notes, then at the humans, then back at his notes. Your economic system makes no logical sense. That's the beauty of it. No one understands it, so everyone just goes along with it. It's like the emperor's new clothes, but with money. What's the emperor's new clothes? A story about mass delusion that we tell children to teach them about honesty, while simultaneously living in a society built on polite fictions. It's very human. As the negotiations continued, something beautiful and ridiculous was happening across Earth. Humans and aliens were bonding over the most unexpected things. In Japan, a group of aliens discovered anime and immediately understood that Earth culture was far more complex than they'd imagined. One alien watched all of Dragon Ball Z in one sitting and demanded to know why human warriors didn't actually scream for 3 episodes before fighting. In Italy, an alien chef tried pasta for the first time and had an existential crisis. "It's just wheat and water," he cried. "But it's perfect. How?" In Australia, aliens learned that humans voluntarily lived on a continent where everything was trying to kill them. This earned immediate respect. "You're not primitives," one alien commander admitted. "You're Spartans with Wi-Fi." In Scotland, an alien tried haggis and declared humans the bravest species in the galaxy. "You eat what from which part of the sheep? And you do this voluntarily." But the real breakthrough came when someone introduced the aliens to music festivals. "Let me understand," Admiral Grunch said slowly, watching footage from Coachella. Humans gather in the desert in extreme heat, with limited facilities, to listen to loud noises and consume overpriced food. That's right, Reginald confirmed cheerfully. And they pay for this. Hundreds of dollars. This is either the most elaborate money laundering scheme in the galaxy, or humans have transcended conventional logic. Both. Definitely both. The cultural exchange accelerated. Aliens started appearing on podcasts. Joe Rogan's 3-hour interview with Sub-Commander Blorg broke the internet, especially the part where they got high and discussed whether the universe was a simulation. But how do you know you're not in a simulation? Joe asked, leaning forward intensely. How do you know? Blorg countered, his eyes dilated from what humans called edibles. Whoa, indeed. Have you ever tried DMT? What's DMT? Dude, you need to try DMT. The episode got 1 billion views in 12 hours. Meanwhile, human scientists were having the time of their lives. The aliens had casually solved problems that humans had been working on for decades, but were completely baffled by things humans took for granted. You've cured cancer? Dr. Harrison asked incredulously. Oh yes, centuries ago, simple cellular reprogramming. But please, explain to us again how you convinced your entire species that tiny pieces of green paper have value? Well, we all just agreed they do. But why? Because we said so? That's insane, says the species that traveled thousands of light years to invade a planet that sells water in bottles? Touché. The military situation had completely dissolved. Half the alien fleet was now in Earth orbit, not as an invasion force, but as a tourist destination. Humans were taking shuttle rides to the alien ships, which had been converted into temporary hotels and restaurants. Welcome to the inevitable doom, a cheerful alien greeter would say. Today's special is reconstituted protein cubes with a side of existential dread. Just kidding, we have pizza now. Everyone loves pizza. The gift shops were making a fortune. My parents invaded Earth, and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. Was the bestseller, followed closely by I survived the least successful invasion in galactic history, and Earth, come for the invasion, stay for the coffee. Admiral Grunch stood on the observation deck of his flagship, looking down at Earth. His invasion had failed spectacularly, but somehow he didn't feel like he'd lost. Sir, his aide approached, the Galactic Council is demanding a final report. What do I tell them? The truth? That we came to conquer and instead got absorbed into their economy? That my tactical officer is now an influencer? That our weapons specialist is dating someone from Brooklyn? That I myself am seriously considering retiring here because they have something called golf, which is apparently hitting a small ball into a hole for no reason, and I find it oddly compelling. Perhaps phrase it differently, sir. The Admiral thought for a moment. You'll tell them Earth is unconquerable because of their military might. No, because they're so strange that fighting them would be like declaring war on chaos itself. You can't defeat chaos. You can only join it or avoid it, and honestly, joining it is more fun. The aide nodded and went to send the message. Reginald, meanwhile, was having a final cup of tea for the day. Moonbeam entered with a report. Sir, the aliens are requesting permission to establish an embassy. Excellent. Where do they want it? Las Vegas. Of course they do. Approve it immediately. Anything else? The UN wants to know if we should stand down the planetary defenses that don't exist. Tell them to keep them on standby, just in case we get invaded by someone with no sense of humor. Very good, sir. Oh, and you've been invited to appear on The Tonight Show to discuss the invasion. The invasion that didn't happen? That's the one, sir. Perfect. Make sure they know I'll need proper tea. None of that bag nonsense. As the sun set on the most anticlimactic invasion in galactic history, humans and aliens mingled in the streets. Food trucks served fusion cuisine, Korean tacos made with alien spices, pizza with toppings from 7 different worlds, and something called cosmic curry that was probably violating several laws of physics, but tasted amazing. Lieutenant ZXQK was live streaming, teaching his alien followers human dances while humans taught him TikTok trends. Sub-Commander Blog had started a YouTube channel where he reviewed Earth movies, his analysis of The Room already being hailed as a masterpiece of critical thinking. "This movie," Blog said to the camera, "is so bad it transcends badness and becomes art. It's like someone set out to make the worst film possible and accidentally created something immortal. This is the most human thing I've ever seen. 10 tentacles up." In the Department of Extraterrestrial Preparedness and Cosmic Relations, Reginald was filing his final report for the day. He wrote, "First contact with alien civilization achieved. Invasion attempted but failed due to bureaucratic complications and cultural contamination. Aliens successfully integrated into Earth economy. Recommend increasing coffee production by 300% to meet new demand. Also suggest investing in intergalactic food trucks. Humanity's greatest weapon remains our ability to make everything weird enough that no one knows how to respond. Mission accomplished through aggressive normalization of the absurd." He signed it, sealed it, and filed it in a drawer marked, "Things that definitely happened, but no one will believe." Admiral Grunch was writing his own report to the Galactic Council. Earth conquest impossible. Not due to military superiority, but psychological incompatibility. Humans have weaponized confusion and monetized everything, including their own invasion. Recommend immediate reclassification from primitive civilization to chaotic neutral economic singularity. Also recommend avoiding Earth unless prepared for existential crisis and/or addiction to something called binge watching. P.S. Requesting permission to extend mission indefinitely for research purposes. Definitely not because I've discovered craft beer and want to try them all. As night fell across the Earth, the alien ships remained in orbit, no longer ominous but almost decorative, like someone had hung Christmas lights in space. The invasion was over before it began, defeated not by weapons or diplomacy, but by the most powerful force in the universe. Humanity's ability to make everything weird, profitable, and strangely entertaining. The universe had met humanity, and humanity had won by being too strange to defeat. The aliens hadn't conquered Earth. Earth had conquered them with memes, bureaucracy, and the irresistible power of coffee. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the message spread to other civilizations. Earth was not to be invaded, not because they were powerful, but because they were something far more dangerous. They were human, and that was terrifying.